I'm back out here on this job where I did an assessment a few days ago, and the homeowner has done some work and checked a few things, and so I'm here to check a few other things. So again, the whole idea here is we want to make sure that we get the right water addressed with a drainage solution out here. And so you can see it's probably been a couple days at least since the rain stopped. And what I want to do today, you see we still have a bunch of seeping going on. I've been thinking about this quite a bit, and I'm really concerned that the nugget bed is holding water here, and something is creating pressure to keep that water flowing right there. And so it would make sense that water landing in here trying to go down would create hydrostatic pressure and pop up. So one of the things I want to do is I want to try and maybe dig a couple of test holes around here, maybe one right here in the gravel, in the river rock. And if I hit a bunch of really wet dirt and even some standing water in there, then I know that the water is kind of sitting here and popping up over here. And so if it is subsurface water, then building this up would not do anything. We would want to do a French drain across here. So let me get to work here. Okay, I just dug this test pit here, and the first thing I want to point out here is look at that gray subsoil. So if you remember your soil science class, gray subsoil is often an indication of waterlogged soils, or maybe an area that floods quite a bit, such as a wetland. So one of the things I want to do here is I want to just maybe leave this for a little while and see if it fills up with water. I also wanted to dig another one, maybe like right there somewhere. So let's see if I can get that rolling. Check this out. Water's coming from somewhere. We didn't hit an irrigation line or something. Alright, it doesn't look like anything is flowing in here. And I want to walk down to the drainage basin. I've been maybe going for about a minute or two. He did have this thing rolling pretty good. So yeah, it's going pretty good here. So I think that corrugated is flowing okay. In here. Okay, I think that corrugated is flowing okay. But boy, there's a lot of water up against that slab. So let me dig another hole over here and see what happens. That is starting to fill up with water too. So I think we're dealing with subsurface water here. So instead of what I was saying with grading this out, I think a French drain along here is going to be the ticket. Next hole over here. Okay, I'm definitely hitting some gravel, and there's a lot of water in here. So they may have put gravel up against the foundation here, up against the slab, and this water's got nowhere to get out. So look at this. So I'm going to change my assessment here and say that this is going to be subsurface water. Now, a couple of you mentioned the pond here. So I think I'm okay ruling out the pond, because they said that the seeping only happens for a few days after a rain and then it goes away. They're also not continually filling up the pond as if it's losing volume. So I think the pond is not leaking. I think we have just subsurface water landing in this area with no way to get out. I was looking at this corrugated pipe and it looked like it was back grading to me, so I exposed it a little bit further, and you can see that they just taped it together. And let's take a look. You got a full bubble of back grade right there. So one of the things that I think might be happening here is this connection may be leaking. So even though the corrugated is flowing, it's going uphill, and so this would have to fill up before it would flow. So I think the gutters and this corrugated piping is definitely contributing to the subsoil water under here. And I talked to the homeowner about putting some temporary pipes on here above ground just to get them, make sure they're out of here, but I think we may have bigger issues, so that may be kind of pointless. So let me demonstrate what happens here when you have these nugget beds up against the foundation. Okay, let me demonstrate what I'm talking about with these nugget beds. So the nuggets are going to let water pass right through them, whereas grass tends to keep the water on the surface. So I've just got some water here, and so I'm hypothesizing that the area here where rainwater is landing on this area is creating hydrostatic pressure there. And so check that out. Just like that, all that water is gone. And so, like I always talk about with water accounting, water in should equal water out. Now, where is that water going? And so I think it's going into the ground here. Let's actually walk over here. All right, come on down here with me. So I think that rainwater is landing on the nugget bed, or in the nugget bed, whatever, and going into the ground and finding a low point. Now the low point might be over here somewhere, but we have all the bedding and foundation of this walkway and the slab here. And so I think that it's creating hydrostatic pressure and making its way over here and popping up under the sunroom and in the sunroom. And so a couple things. We just dug those 2 or 3 holes there and found water, so I think it's subsurface water. We don't typically see that here in North Carolina, but this was all redone recently, and so depending on what kind of soil they imported, and the homeowner didn't know what they imported, but I think that we're dealing with subsurface water here, and I think a French drain along that slab is in order, along with building this all up so it sheds away. So I'm going to get up there with my drone and take a look at the gutters as well to see. The homeowners are saying that they don't think they're overflowing, but they might be. So I'm going to get up there and take a look at those as well while I'm here. Okay, just for argument's sake, let's try to reproduce that on the grass. See if we can get any water to go into that catch basin. All right, so you see that? that water flowed along the surface and is now moving downhill here. And so even grass, especially grass as a covering, I know it's kind of windy out here, that is going to help to be a barrier for water going down into the soil. And these nugget beds, I really think they're just letting the water just soak right in there like we just demonstrated, instead of flow along them. So I think we need, let's take a look over here. Now, French drain should always be lower than the foundation, so we've got to stay away from the basement area, but the slab here, as long as we get under the slab, it's almost like a foundation tile. It would be, in that case, functioning as. We would come across here with our perforated pipe and end it over here somewhere, and then it would turn into solid, and then it would go right into the basin there. And so not only would we put our perforated French drain pipe in there, but we would catch this gutter. Actually, I would move the gutter downspout to here, like I talked about right there. Catch it in. I would want to catch this one, these two as well, and then I'm thinking the one around the front. So we need to look around the front as well. Let's head up there. So one of the things I wanted to come back out here and take another look at was this front area. And they had these retaining walls added and a bunch of fill brought in. And so I'm also very concerned that we have water landing here and going down in, but like I said before, it would have to go all the way across the basement foundation and pop up in the sunroom. So this may not be as big of a deal. Regardless, I would still like to see this built up quite a bit with good clay. And then we need to build it all up along here, even though we've got a bunch of utilities, and the 2 condenser units would probably have to be removed so we can do our work and then place back like I've done a million times before. I would also almost like to get rid of this rock here and do sod up against here to help to contain the water. But the problem is, this is like a low point right here. So I understand what they were trying to accomplish here, but I'm not sure that it's really working too well. We really need to bring in some dirt, get rid of this hump right here, and have this thing, like I said in the first video, as a continuous slope, shedding water away. Instead of what it's doing now, this is a high point, it goes that way, and it goes that way. So we could definitely dig a couple holes here and see if there's water down there too, but it's most likely ending up in that low area down there. Okay, let me get the drone up in the air and take a look at those gutters and see if there's anything going on with those. Taking a look at these gutters, they don't look too bad, and they do have gutter guard on them. And so we have a bunch of trees here around that property, and the gutter guard works really well as long as you keep it clean. And so up here, looking at it with the drone, everything looks really good up here. I would still like to move that downspout though to the front instead of being back further along the foundation. If that thing ever does overflow and that's the low point right there, then all that water would cascade down into that nugget bed. And so these are just things that I see a lot on other properties. And so this homeowner really wants to get this stuff taken care of right away. And so same thing right here. And you all remember from my last video, a few days ago, where the top gutter was dumping onto the bottom gutter, and then we had one downspout. And so I think I want to include taking this top gutter in its own downspout all the way to the bottom. And again, these are just things that I see occasionally and know that they may be a problem. That's a weak point. And so if we can get it addressed right now and get it working to the absolute best, that's going to be the ticket. The gutters themselves, take a look right there. They look like they're positioned correctly. They're just below the plane of the roof like that. And they have gutter guard on the top here too, and so keeping that clean is going to be a big issue. But again, I keep telling the homeowner, these are things that I see and we want to take care of them before they become a problem. And so the homeowner is really, really interested in getting this all done correctly and not having this flooding issue going on anymore. The same thing is going on here, where this is going to be an issue at some point where you have this ground sloping into the foundation. And you all have seen me address this on multiple properties where we bring in dirt. And so this might not be a problem right now, but it is not right. And so it needs to be corrected. And the homeowner is all about getting this all fixed the way it should be, and so he doesn't have to worry about it anymore. Same thing going along this wall here. The shrubs are probably going to have to come out. We need to build that up and then get our French drain in here. The nice thing about this property is we do have this really nice drainage basin here. And so all of our drainage solutions are going to turn this catch basin into the low point. This catch basin is into the path of least resistance, so the water will naturally flow to here. Taking a look at the front of the house again here. After seeing how that corrugated was installed down there, I would really like to catch this gutter into some PVC, even though I kind of hate making all those 90s, but it's going to be way better than what it's doing now, I think. And you're looking at like a quarter of the house right there. The other thing I wanted to check on was this pipe here. That's another big section of roof, and we might have some water overflowing. Look at that broken or dented gutter right there. So that may be overflowing and landing here. Now what's this all about? Look at this. Okay, so that may be okay. Look at that big PVC pipe. The funny thing is, where is that going? Why isn't it going into there? The other silly thing is they put all these rocks around here. We got to fix this too. Look, you think water's going to flow into this basin? No. Watch this. Where's that water going? Look at that. Don't ever put rocks around a basin like this. So we've got to do something up here too. Dang it. They've got this beautiful basin here and a big old 6-inch PVC pipe. So I wonder where that's going. Dang it. If it's flowing, we need to go above ground with this gutter straight into here, and this one too. Oh man, these rocks are wrong. You don't ever put rocks around a basin like this, because water flows through the rocks. Water falls through the rocks. Alright, let me see if I can find out where this is leading to. Yeah, I'll be right back with you. Okay, let's see how we do here. Where do you think that thing's going? So we've got to clean out here, which may be the gutters, or it may be, oh look at that, look at that. That water's flowing somewhere. That's a double L in there. I really like those fittings. Anyway, this definitely needs to be redone here. Big time. This could be where some of that water's coming from. So I wonder where this is coming out at. Okay, that 6-inch pipe has been flowing for a while, so let's see if we've got anything down here. I hear something. So yeah. Oh yeah, it's corrugated, but it's 6-inch. So I think I want to talk to them about redoing those gutters, reworking those gutters in the front and just dumping them into that 6-inch, because that's a better pipe than those little 4-inch ones, and it's flowing pretty well. So I'm going to add that in there, and that as a possible place that water might be getting in. We also have to get rid of those rocks around that catch basin. Okay, so whatever was going on here has stopped. So that's very interesting to me. but this thing does seem to be flowing down and around. So I'm gonna say, let me get this out here. I'm gonna say dump these directly into this basin here. 1, 2, 3. I don't know, that's just a better pipe. What do y'all think? 3 4-inches or 1 6-inch? I'm taking a closer look at this front area here, and come on down here with me and take a look. This is really sloping into the house here, so I think I want to include adding a bunch of fill in here. You see where our foundation vent is right there? We could add that in, maybe up to this whatever that thing is, and get some good clay going into this basin. Get rid of these rocks, because this is a low point here, and build it up against the foundation too. This has got to be a low point instead of what it is right now. So these nuggets are just, look at that. I mean, they just hold the water and let it go through them. So I think this might be contributing to it. You just never want to make a low point up against the house. Look at this. I know it's beautiful and everything. It's just this water has no way to get out of here. All right, I think I'm ready to end this video. Okay, I just finished flying the drone, checking out the gutters, screwing around a little bit, got the drone packed back up, and I wanted to check on this. And so this one is definitely filling up with water. And so these are pretty much holding at a certain level, and I would guess that level is probably the bottom side of the slab under there. And this one's filling up a little bit too. Now we're a little bit higher from here to here, so that might explain why this one's not quite as deep. But regardless, I'm going to quote this as doing a French drain, digging all this up, digging down below the slab, putting in maybe 2 or 3 feet of gravel and 2 perforated pipes, bringing them across this river rock here. We got to go through the pavers. We'll have to dig those up and put them back, and then trench across the lawn and core into the side of the drainage basin there, and also catching these gutters. So I think that's gonna, we've got to give the water a way to get out of here. And so just like I demonstrated with my bucket, that water that went into the ground has got to have a way to come out. Right now I think it's popping up along this crack here and flowing underground. Okay, so let me get back in touch with the homeowner, and I will be back in touch with you all. Going back out there and digging those couple of test holes up against the foundation along the sunroom, I think was a really good indication of where the water's coming from. And so I think my initial thought of building that up as a slope away from the sunroom, I think that was incorrect. So I've changed my assessment here. I want to put a French drain in along that sunroom and drain it down into the drainage basin. I also want to build up along the 2 sides, but the front area has me very, very concerned. And so that front catch basin, that whole area is I guess designed to catch all that water, and it's all going into a corrugated pipe. And so it's just a matter of time before that pipe gets infiltrated by roots and everything. And so I'm really, really concerned about that. The other thing is, originally I had thought bring in some clay and kind of build that up in that area, but I talked to the homeowner today, and he's got an evacuation pump in the basement, and he said there's a bunch of water around it that's never been there before. And so I think they're already starting to experience problems. And this work was done about 6 months ago, I guess. And so this could continue being a problem along that front area. And so I know you all are about to cringe, but what do you think I would recommend doing in that area, that low area? I think concreting it's going to be the ticket, because we've got to create a barrier for water. There's nowhere for water to get out of there. And so if I'm going to be offering a 100% solution here, I think we've got to at least talk about concreting it. So I'll get back with the homeowner on this and see what he says. But let me know in the comments what you all think of this assessment, and this is kind of a follow-up to the original assessment a couple days ago. So let me know what you all think. All right, thanks for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this update to my original assessment. It's definitely an interesting situation over here. So if you want to support the channel, you know what to do here, and you can click the links to further support the channel. All right, I'll see you on the next one.